Hello guys, Cost here, and we're back with another episode on Python tutorials for beginners. In this episode, we're going to be looking at iteration and condition control loops. So in the last episode or video, or lesson, whatever you wish to call it, we looked at count control loops. Today we're going to be looking at condition control loops. These loops continue on repeating while a condition is only true. So what that means is that this piece of code will only run if it meets this condition. So let's look at this example that they used over here. Let's put in here example, some commenting here. So they used was a while loop, which I have shown previously, but very briefly I have not actually explained a lot about it. So let's go through this text, through this piece of code. X has been assigned to 0. While x is less than 5, print looping. So when I press F5, the program will always continuously print looping because it's always because 0 is always going to be less than 5. X will always be less than x will always be less than 5. So if we run the above code, if you run the above code, you will find you'll find it goes on forever printing looping. That's because x remains 0 and so it's always less than 5. Let's fix that. So what they've done is they added this piece of code, which is saying assign x to x plus 1. So every single time it will go for this while loop, it will always add 1 to x. So if we have it running, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got to 5, but then don't print out looping anymore. Because now x has now become greater than 5. So it's stopped printing looping. Or it's no longer less than 5. So let's do task 9a. Let's do that one. Write a program that asks for a password and keeps asking it until the correct password, Apple, is entered and says accepted. So let's do that. Let's say the password equals input, say password. And let's do while. So this is gonna write a program that keeps asking until the correct password's been entered and says accepted. So while password. Now this is a new one that you're gonna. No, this was not talked about previously. It has not been talked about, has it? Yes, it has actually. So we're going to be using is a not equal to operator, which we don't really go into, but there on chapter 6 there was a table with different operators, and this operator was there. So while password is not equal to Apple, or while password is actually equal to Apple, because they want us to. Oh, not equal actually. What's the exact answer? Write a program that asks for the password and keeps asking until the correct password Apple is entered. So yeah, while so actually what we would want is we want password to actually come over here actually. Right? While password is not equal to Apple, write a program that asks for the password and keeps asking until the correct password Apple is entered. Okay. Actually, no, we don't actually need. While password is not equal to Apple, would we print it? No, you ask it again. And when it gets the correct password, you do an if statement. If password is equal to Apple, print accepted. Let's try that. So let's try password only enter Apple, accepted. Okay, there we go. That works. So let's go through the piece of code that we've got over here. So it asks for the password, and while password is not equal to Apple, so if it's not equal to Apple, keep on asking it if password is equal to Apple, Actually, I should test that again. So, yeah, go keep on asking it. That works. Okay. So, yeah. So, while password is not equal to Apple, keep on asking it, and if password does manage to become Apple, print accepted. There we go. So, what's actually been shown, which in the odd task has not really been shown, is we've used the not equal sign, and we have put an if statement inside a while loop. So, the reason we've done this is because so we've got the condition, but what if this happens? You have to enter if to try and get out of the while loop, for example, etc. Go through this more as we go on through the tasks. Task 9b. Sequence 1, 4, 9, 16, 25 is made up of square numbers. 1 equals 1 squared, 4 equals 2 squared, etc. Wrapping that writes out all the square numbers under 5,000. Okay. So we could say the sequence is made up of, write down all the square numbers. So I'm guessing I want while square number is less than, or less than 5,000. Well, we haven't actually even defined square number, actually. Let's make square number 0 first. Let's actually define it first. Well, square number is that. It'll make... would be a for loop? No, we don't need a for loop. Because you can just use one of these in here. So do while square number is made of square numbers, i.e. 1 equals 1 squared, 4 equals... Okay. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. I'm going to write out all the square numbers. So, just trying to understand this. They want is all the square numbers. Okay. We're going to need two variables. Yeah, I tried that. That did not work. Yeah, that's not work. Okay. We're going to need two variables. Because looking at this, I can see that we're going to need two variables. We're going to need the square number, the result. We're going to need the 1, 2... Oh yeah, got to work out. So this is wrong. We're going to add a new variable called number. And number's going to equal to 0, so is the square number's also going to equal to 0. We're just, what we are doing here is we're just creating these variables so they can be used in the while loop. That's just it. We're going to get rid of that for the moment. And what we're going to do is we're not going to... Well, first of all, we're going to actually start adding up these numbers. So we're going to say number equals number plus 1. Because we want to start at 1, and we want to be adding on to 1, 2, 3 to try and get the answer. Then we're going to say the square number is equal to the number, so 1, 2, 3, to the power of 2. Remember that 2 asterisks is to the power of. And these are square numbers, so we want 1 to the power of 2 to get 1, 2 to the power of 2 to get 4, etc. And what we're going to say is, if the square number becomes, actually no, if the square number, becomes greater than 5,000, we'll say these are all the square numbers under 5,000. Else, if they're not greater than 5,000, we'll just print out the square numbers. So now we should get, we've done that. There we go. So we've got, like here, it shows here, 1, 4, 9, and it keeps on squaring, and it gets to 4,900. It doesn't go to 5,000 because we've told it not to do that. So these are all the square numbers under 5,000. There we go. So let's go through this code again. We're going to assign number to equal 0, square number to equal 0. While square number is less than 5,000, put number equals number plus 1. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we can start squaring those numbers. square number is equal to the number to the power of 2, because a square number is to the power of 2. So 1 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 2, etc. If the square number becomes greater than 5,000, print, these are all the square numbers under 5,000, so it won't print out any square numbers above that. Else, if it isn't greater than, so it will keep on looping this. It will keep on looping through this. Else, print out the square number. So we'll come here. Oh, we got 4, for example. That's not greater than that. So else, I'm just going to print out 4. But then let's say we reach 5,000 or something. Say, oh, I am actually greater than 5,000. Let me say that these are all the square numbers. And there we go. That's it for that task. So we did do a few new stuff. We did a while loop, and we did add if and else statements to the while loop, which you can do, right? You can add on tons of if statements if you wish. You can do that. Next task. The following code will create an integer x that is random between 1 and 0. Import random. So we have done import before. We done was import math. So import random. I did say import random previously. It just allows you to actually randomize some stuff. For example, randomizing lists, random number between this range, for example. And they want is x. So the way to get a random number is we must use random. We must import that, because if we didn't have it, it would actually mark that as undefined here. Random.randit. That's what's used. We want a random. We want to randit. For some reason they use that word. I don't know why. Between 1 and 100. The line import random has to be put at the very top of the program so you can use it. Yes, it does. The comments don't count. You can put modules below comments because they don't count as lines of code. So you can use random.randit wherever you want. Yeah, so once you import it anywhere below, you can use it. So wherever you put random, right? Anything below it, you can use the random function. And to call the random function, you must use random. And when we say call, we mean use it. In program, when we say call, we wish to call this function, wish to run this function, use this function. So yes, we'll have to use random. For example, when we did with pi, we have to use math.pi. So you must use the word from the random. You must use the word from the module. Yeah, this is called a module. You must use the random, then dot whatever you. There are different ones. Random dot shuffle, random dot choice. There are tons. Today we're going to use random dot randit, which is a part of the random module, like a subroutine inside the random module. You'll look at subroutines later, anyway, so that'll make more sense. Write a program in which the computer thinks of a number between 1 and 0, i.e. picks number at random. It should then ask the user to guess what number it is thinking of. It should say whether the number the computer is thinking is higher or lower than the one guessed. If the user guesses correctly, it should say well done and say how many guesses it took them. If not, it asks them to guess again. So okay. Look, subroutines will be our next topic anyway. Okay. Coincidence. I was talking about it. Okay, so let's start with printing, I guess. Yeah. Or should we do a while loop? No, because this one's only printed out once, so we don't do that. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna say guess number equals input, that's whatever the user's gonna put, and equals actually int input. And say I am thinking of a number. I'm copying exactly what's in the PDF between 1 to 100. Can you guess what it is? There we go. I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bunch of enters. So this goes up, You can't like see the whole of it due to the font. So what it's gonna say is while guess number is not equal. Actually, while x, because that's the. Let me actually change this to a random number. Give it more appropriate. While random number is not equal to the guess number, if random number is greater than the guess. Actually, no. Let's say if the guess number is greater than the random number, we're going to do another one of these because we want to ask again for a new number. So let's actually extend this so you can see all of it. So if guess number is greater than random number, we're going to say no, the number I'm thinking of is higher than whatever. So the number is greater than, and we're going to say, we're actually going to end. They did use here. Yeah, let me actually. Yeah, I don't know if you don't notice, I'm using the double speech marks. Unlike in previous tasks when I was just using this. Yeah, I prefer using double speech marks. Like in previous videos, I did explain to you that there are pros and cons. Again, the pro thing is there's no issues. I won't have to use escape characters, so there'll be no issues if I'd done something like, let's say I was to write John's. That appears as an issue, but if I do like over here, John's, it doesn't appear as an issue. So you guys notice that? I just prefer using double speech marks. Higher than plus, and the guess number, whatever the guess number is, string, is higher than this. Can you guess what it is? Lower, and the number of times, yeah, we also need to add that up. So, number of guesses, is 0, or I should just put times guessed, maybe, times guessed, yeah, we'll put times guessed plus 1, and we'll say is else if guess number is less than, is lower than, and is that it? Is that all we need to put? Yeah, and else the number must be correct, right? So let's just copy out that statement. Print well done. The answer was so the number was the random number. You found it in, let's just, there we go. You found it in how many guesses? Okay, let's try this. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the square numbers. Let's maximize this. So these are all the square numbers. I'm picking a number. Let's do 50. It's higher. Let's do 60. 60. Let's do 70. 80. 90. Oh, I typed in 80 again. Oops. High is 90. Their bug. Don't turn it to 100. It can't be higher than 100. There must be an error going on over here. Interestingly, there must be an error going on over here. The number I'm thinking of is higher than 100. Yeah, there must be an error going on over here. So guess number equals Do you know what? I'll do... Yeah, actually, I'm going to change this up a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this as while true instead. And this is something which has not been discussed. No, actually, don't break these, actually, no. So, the while true means it'll always do this, right? This function will always be run. Right, all the code will always run unless it's told not to. So I'm telling it, so if guess number, always be asking, right? Should just put actually this on top actually. Maybe this on top? No. You would, yeah, let's put that on top first. Okay. Should actually start from 1 actually times guessed. So it will always run this, and it will always run this, and it will only break out of the loop once it's got the correct answer. Once it's got well done, that's when it will break, and that's what the break function is used. If your condition is always while true, once you use the word break, that means okay, once this code has been reached, it will come out of the loop. In this instance, it's when we get the well done, the answer, that will get out of our loop. If the answer is wrong, it will always keep on looping because I've not put the break. It's got the true function, it's got the true condition, so it will always be looping because it will always be true. Let's try that. Let's try it this way instead. No, so let's try 50. Higher. Not liking already the sound of this. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to be repeating this. I don't want this repeated. Let's put, yeah, I don't want to always be repeating that. Let's put that there. 100. Okay, there's still something wrong. It's still saying that's greater than 100. If guess number is greater than the random number, actually this should be the other way around, right? Hold on. That being a simple fix. 50 is lower. 20. 30. 40. 35. Oh, I added 25. 35. It's higher than 37. 39. 39, not 29. 38. And we probably did get it right, but something happened. Got another error, and because string. So you probably don't have to change the while loop, but I prefer doing my while loops like this, but with while true. I do prefer doing it like that, but it probably could have worked with the other way. Might have worked as well. 50, 25, 80, 90, 95, 93. Yeah, the answer was 93, and I've done it 6 times, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it was 6 times. So there we go. So random, get around. I'm thinking of a number between this times guessed, of course the first one, because you have to, because you try again answer over here first. There you go. If guess number is equal, can you guess what is? Just that keeps on adding on. If, yeah, it all works fine. So that'll be it for this lesson. In the next lesson, you'll be looking at subroutines, procedures, and functions. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hope to see you guys very soon. Goodbye.